Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video, we take a look at a selection of possible theories for one of Poppy Playtime Chapter 2's greatest mysteries. This being the appearance of Huggy's female counterpart, Kissy Missy, who showed up midway through the chapter and helped us access a locked area of the factory. What makes Kissy's inclusion especially strange is her placid nature. She does not attack or act maliciously toward the protagonist, seemingly free of murderous thoughts, unlike the other living toys such as Huggy Wuggy and Mommy Longlegs. I have spent several days pondering why this may be, and have a number of mini theories in my head. As most of these theories are based on speculation, I decided to compile them into one mashup video. So sit back, relax, and let's explore some possible reasons why Kissy Missy doesn't attack us in Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. The first possibility as to why Kissy Missy is friendly toward our character is actually my personal favourite theory of the bunch, purely because I think it would make for a really cool story beat. During our adventure through the game station in the depths of Playtime Co. Toy Factory, we learn this area was once used as a testing ground of sorts. Here, orphans adopted by Playtime employees as part of the Foster and Adoptive Care Initiative were made to take part in a series of tests masquerading as mini-games. In fact, we are forced to partake in these free tests ourselves under the watchful eye of Mommy Longlegs. While nothing is confirmed, if you've been watching my previous Poppy Playtime theories, you'll know that using the evidence on hand, my personal belief is that these tests induced different emotions in the minds of these orphan children, such as anxiety and fear, bonding them to their assigned companion toys. Now tethered to their assigned toy, the orphans were then killed and resurrected within their plastic shells, creating a living toy that could be sold to the world. Once the technology was perfected, that is. You see, these resurrected test subjects, especially the earlier adult specimens, were highly volatile, acting out with murderous intent. We experience this firsthand with many of the toys encountered in both chapters thus far. In this recording from a lead scientist at Playtime Co., we hear him mention how experiments required a suppressor to quell these violent tendencies.
The prototype seems to possess an unprecedented level of intelligence, beyond that of all other test subjects, as well as an alarming willingness to commit violence. Further suppression treatments will need to be enacted to ensure that no other experiments develop these qualities.
These suppressors came in the form of the orphan children. It seems not only were they used in experiments to create living toys, but were also allowed to play with existing experiments. The children had a natural calming effect on experiments such as Mommy Longlegs, their presence taking her mind away from the violent thoughts and to a naturally maternal place. This brings us to Kissy Missy. If she is still friendly and willing to help us, then is it possible she still has access to her suppressors, the orphan children? We know that after the prototype escaped confinement, many of the other living toys slaughtered the staff of Playtime Co. They disappeared and the factory closed until our return 10 years later. But we must recall the cryptic note received that first invited our protagonist back to the factory. The note reads, "We're still here." And not only that, this note appears to be written by a child. Look at the lettering and spelling errors as well as the childlike drawing. Therefore, it is possible that Kissy Missy acted as a guardian who managed to hide a group of surviving children during the outbreak, now living with them in a hideout deep within the depths of the factory, a place none of the other toys managed to discover. The presence of these children around Kissy would have kept her suppressors in check, and steered her away from the darkness that seems to take over these toys when they are left to their own devices. So in a future chapter, maybe we will discover Kissy's hideout and save the children, who are now likely teenagers still trapped inside the factory. The second theory is built from the same concept as the previous one. As stated before, each of these living toys had a violent darkness within them. This likely originating from the angry human soul now confused and trapped within the body of a toy. The scientist on these VHS tapes mentions how he will continue to forge onward in the name of science, seeking to perfect his work into living toy experiments.
I'm not worried about myself. One breakthrough and I'll be back. We must forge onwards in the name of science, whether those who are beneath us understand it or not.
Therefore, it is possible that Kissy Missy was one of the final experiments that took place before the fall of the facility. She was the perfect specimen, or perhaps one that was almost perfect. After all, it seems likely Kissy would have been made after Huggy Wuggy, and the scientist remarks that Huggy was one of the most obedient experiments to date.
Experiment 1170, Huggy Wuggy, remains the optimal outcome due to his sufficient intelligence paired with maximum obedience.
We also hear Poppy refer to our character as being perfect, too perfect to lose, which may suggest we are a test subject ourselves, or at least being viewed as one.
You're perfect. Too perfect to lose. I'm sorry. I can't let you leave.
So the notion of perfection within these experiments to create something pure and devoid of violent tendencies is definitely something the Playtime Co. science team was striving for, and maybe Kissy Missy was the perfect experiment. The culmination of all of their research. One who is completely obedient and docile around both children and adults alike. This would mean that Kissy will help us in future chapters and perhaps even fight alongside us as an ally. The final theory is the most simple of the bunch and could be the most accurate too if we are simply taking all evidence at face value. In Chapter 1 of Poppy Playtime, you will remember upon first meeting with Huggy Wuggy, he smiles just like Kissy Missy, before lending a helping hand by passing us a key to the power room so we may proceed through the stage. Just like Kissy Missy pulls this lever to lift the gate blocking our path in the minecart area. However, Huggy later turned feral and attacked. By this rationale, it is plausible that these toys do not immediately succumb to their violent desires, but rather are gradually overtaken by darkness the longer they are exposed to adults. It seems while children act as suppressors, adults are the opposite, acting as a trigger for the dark thoughts within the minds of these toys. We see this with Mommy Longlegs, who grows more and more unhinged the longer she is around us.
Isn't this exciting, Poppy?
I asked you to play fair, and you cheated! I hate cheaters! Now, we're going to play one last game! It's called Hide and Seek!
So while Kissy Missy is friendly in Chapter 2, if this final theory is correct, she may be one of the featured enemies in Chapter 3, chasing us throughout the stage at various points, just as Huggy Wuggy did by the end of Chapter 1. Her darkness now once again unleashed. And with that, we reach the end of today's video and a look at 3 possible theories to explain Kissy's behaviour in Poppy Playtime Chapter 2. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it entertaining and informative. If you did, remember to leave me a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more horror related content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.